Today's lesson is on the nervous tissue. This tissue is very important. You will learn it again in grade 12. This is the one tissue that is responsible for picking up stimuli. Now, it's not in your notes, but please add a stimulus is any change in your external or internal environment. So when you are feeling pain inside your body, that's a stimulus. You have to react to that stimulus. When you are feeling cold outside, hot, those are external stimuli. So the nervous tissue picks up stimuli in your external and your internal environment. The stimuli are analyzed by the nervous systems, and then a pressed appropriate response is then produced. So that is the function of the nervous system. You will learn more about this in grade 12. This diagram that you see here is a motor neuron. Neurons are known as nerve cells. In between the neurons are neuroglia, and neuroglia are supporting cells. These cells support, nourish, and protect the neurons. Now, neurons can be classified according to their function. You get the motor or efferent neuron, efferent with the E. This neuron transmits impulses away from the central nervous system to the muscle or the gland. The motor of a car makes the car move. Muscles and glands make the body move as well. Sensory neurons, or afferent with the A, transmit impulses from the sense organs or receptors to the central nervous system. And the last neuron, connector or interneuron, transmit impulses from the sensory to the motor neuron. You will learn more about this in grade 12. Now let's look at the structure of a neuron. Neurons can be meters long, hence this cut portion of the neuron. These are dendrites. Dendrites always take an impulse to the cell body. Now, the cell body I've drawn with a bracket. Any part that has the nucleus, that is a cell body. And you must use a bracket to show the cell body. So anything that has a nucleus, that's the cell body, and you should know the nucleus controls the functions of the neuron. The cell membrane, that's easy. That's the membrane here. Cytoplasm, the fluid. Now these purple structures that are here, these are the neurofibrils. So when the impulse travels, the impulse cannot travel in the cytoplasm, so it travels on the neurofibrils. So it's almost like a path that the impulse must travel as it is in the cell body. The dendrites take the impulse to the cell body. The axon takes the impulse away from the cell body. The axon, very important, surrounded by this purple layer, which is the myelin sheet. The myelin sheet is there for electrical insulation, and it speeds up the transmission of the impulse. The membrane of the myelin sheet, which I drew in green, is the neurilemma. And on the axon, you have the myelin sheet. And this place here where there is no myelin sheet, that's the node of Ranvier. The node of Ranvier also speeds up the transmission of the impulse. So the dendrites take the impulse to the cell body, the axon takes the impulse away. The myelin sheet is there for electrical insulation, speeds up the transmission of the impulse, as well as the node of Ranvier. The node of Ranvier, it's this is the area with the myelin sheet. This place where there's no myelin sheet, that's the node of Ranvier. And that also helps to speed up the transmission of the impulse. The neurilemma is the membrane of the myelin sheet, which I drew in green. The neurofibrils is the path that the impulse, so when the impulse travels and enters to the dendrites, it will travel on the neurofibrils. You also have Nissl granules. Nissl granules are there they contain ribosomes, so they're there to produce proteins. Nissl is in capital letter because it's named after a person. Ranvier is in capital letter because it is named after a person. So this is the diagram where the exceptions are made. Ranvier and Nissl must be in capital letter. This is a very important diagram. You will learn this neuron again in matric. And the functions of the nervous tissue is to pick up stimuli in your external and internal environment. The stimuli are analyzed and then to allow for the best appropriate response. Thank you.